Oh gosh, his upper register. I'm just sitting here like kind of speechless because I'm so impressed by him. Hello, lovely humans of the internet. I am so excited to be back with a video. Finally, we've had a little bit of drama, just to let you in on what's been going on. We've had a little bit of drama with copyright claims. Luckily, no strikes, nothing like that. But the last few videos that we have tried to make, it's just been so hard to get them to be viewable by the public. So I'm so sorry that it's taken so long, but we're relatively new YouTubers. We're relatively new to the system. So we're still kind of figuring out all of the things that you're supposed to do, especially now that this channel has met the status that it has. So we just thank you for your continued support as we continue to learn about the process. Shameless plug for Artists for Peace. We have raised some wonderful funds so far, and we have put together a concert with over 35 emerging artists at various levels in their careers. We have everything from people that are in their undergraduate degree still to people that are making their Met debuts soon. So we have a huge spectrum of absolutely fantastic and super skilled artists in this program, and it is all to benefit the victims of the war in Ukraine. We're coupling with Global Giving's Ukraine Crisis Relief Fund for this project, and it is viewable to the public via an on-demand ticket that you can get on operacecilia.com. The website link will be in the description for this video. Until May 22nd. That will be our closing date. We thank you. I know we have a few YouTubers, a few of you have actually donated and hopefully gotten the chance to view the concert. It is definitely a long one, so take it in chunks. That's what we highly recommend. I hope you consider viewing Artists for Peace before our closing date, which will be May 22nd for on-demand tickets to that concert. This is my second Dimash video. I was not expecting, I actually have some videos that are hidden in copyright claims right now that we are trying so hard to release to the public on a new artist and a few other fun things that we're currently working out kinks with. But so I wasn't expecting to do another video on Dimash so soon, but he is kind of back by popular demand because we had such a fantastic reaction and just overall turnout for our first Dimash video, and we had so many amazing recommendations, and one of those recommendations was just so fitting with Opera Cecilia and what we're currently doing as a company to raise money for the victims of the war in Ukraine, and that was Dimash's beautiful piece, War and Peace. The specific one I chose because it has English subtitles, because I don't speak the language that he is singing in, and I really want to be able to enjoy and find meaning in these incredible lyrics in addition to his amazing vocal ability. So that's part of the reason I chose this version, and I wanted to get a live performance of it. This was one of the songs that you all recommended in the comments, so thank you so much for your recommendation. I have not heard this song before, so let's get into it. Okay, I'm gonna stop it. I know it's super early in the video, but wow, what an introduction from this band, from the backing vocals. It already has such a majestic sound to it before Dimash even starts singing, and then he comes in contrast to those vocals with this beautiful vocal line that has a little tiny bit extra breath in it, but not a ton. There's a little tiny bit of escaping air there for a dramatic effect. It's clearly intentional, and he allows the soft and tender sides to his voice to come out and to really showcase themselves at the very beginning. And one of the things that you can do at the beginning of a piece to get dramatic intrigue right away is come in contrast to the instrumental that you've heard before. And you definitely see him do that here. Also, the visuals on the back of this, in the backdrop of this concert are incredibly thought-provoking already. And I believe this is actually the performance that took place in Ukraine as well. So I believe that's what this the first person who commented on our last Dimash video said, that he performed this in the Ukraine. So very, very applicable to things that Opera Cecilia is raising money for right now, and a particular cause that I think is close to all of our hearts at this moment, as we're all standing with Ukraine during this terrible crisis in our world, but especially in this moment of us producing this benefit concert and really thinking about this cause. This is a very special song to be listening to right now. Oh my gosh, the lyrics at the beginning of this piece are so beautiful. You know, who's going to be the first one to stand up? Who's going to be the first one to spread love and open up their hearts and be the first person to kind of speak out about these terribly violent things that happen in our world that humans do to each other. And oh my gosh, all of those little tiny intricate vocal ornaments that he's doing. We can't underestimate the agility of that, the incredible agility of his voice and how moving that can be, because not only is his voice physically moving quickly, but it matches the sentiment of the song because there's a sense of urgency that's expressively behind it. And I truly believe that vocal ornaments exist in a piece in order for us to get an idea of something that is trying to be expressed that is beyond the capacity for words. And so oftentimes they're emotions that are just kind of like cries of anguish. Other times they can portray laughter in songs. It's all of those emotions that words just can't quite describe. So we have to have some sort of cry, in this case sort of a battle cry, a very intricate battle cry, but not a battle cry toward war, a battle cry in which we're fighting against the idea that war has to exist in this world. There's so much that's being set up with himself vocally in the song right away that is so incredibly beautiful. And I just want to kind of go back and listen to a few of those ornaments again, if you're okay with that. So I'm going to rewind it a little tiny bit. The na na, all of those little tiny flips that he's doing are absolutely gorgeous, and they're adding so much expressivity to this song. And when I went back and I listened to that little section again, I was also able to tell a little bit easier that he's oscillating between a bit more escaping air in his tone, so going a little bit further back, to having it really, really bright and pingy and forward. And the fact that he's able to do that to achieve different vocal colors shows his level of training, and it shows his level of mastery over his own instrument, in addition to it being very, very artistically expressive. All right, I'm gonna keep moving forward. Oh my gosh, I could nerd out about him all day. Y'all, this is such a good choice for this channel. I absolutely love him. All of you who have recommended him, thank you. So as we're changing and transitioning into a different part of the song, as he's talking about kind of the conflict of war versus peace in our lives, and how we exist as human beings, and how we have the capacity to be so incredibly loving, but we don't always lead with that, you know? Such powerful lyrics. But I can tell that like he's leading up to a climax. So he's not giving us everything that his voice can do right away. He's not coming out forte. He's staying a little bit more piano, a little bit softer. And what I also love about his interpretation is this beautiful, it's not even really a falsetto. It's just a gorgeous developed head voice. Yes, men have head voice too. It's beautiful. It's supported. But it is more delicate in nature in any vocalist than a full belt or something really, really big and impactful would be. And he's doing that on purpose. He's doing that on purpose to reel you in, to make you listen to him, to make you listen to his words. He's commanding you to listen to his words in a very, very artistically eloquent way. She's so well supported. We call it coloratura in the classical music world, but it's usually called like vocal runs or riffs in contemporary world. And he crosses genres for sure, because that was a beautiful tenor high note at the end of that piece that sounded like a classical singer. And you can see hints of his classical training all throughout this. But what's amazing also is how he's expressing his lyrics with his voice. And I feel like people who are known for their vocal pyrotechnics, like him, people underestimate his expressivity. We can't underestimate that, because every choice he's making is very artistic. It's not just to show off. It's because he can use his voice as an instrument for his message. And that's what we all try to accomplish as vocalists, is that balance between having a really, really cool voice, a really great instrument, and being able to express so much with it at the same time. And he does that so beautifully here. He's going more full out, and he's doing it at the time when you're starting to talk more about that conflict of the extremes end up winning the battle at the end, whether it's the extreme good or the extreme evil. And it feels like softness or being able to see other perspectives doesn't always have room for that. As those conflicts continue to come up to a climactic point or provoke more emotion in him as the artist, his voice grows in volume and fullness and timbre as well. And it's just, it's so cool. Oh gosh, his upper register. I'm just sitting here like kind of speechless because I'm so impressed by him, but like also wanting to say something of value. So we're going, two sides of my brain are going to go in berserk at right now. That is how you do a supported upper register. That is all from his body. You can tell in the way he's moving his body that he's supporting it so well. It's not straining him, which is incredible because it's really easy to get strained when you're up in that tessitura, that range in your voice. But he is able to keep himself grounded. And if you notice the way that he's moving on stage, he's incorporating a lot of knee bends. Sometimes, occasionally, I will encourage a voice student, and I will do this myself, to bend their knees a little bit when they're going up for high notes, because it reminds you to kind of keep a low center of gravity with that breath. You want the right muscles working for you in that moment. And I'm seeing him do that. He's shifting his center of gravity in a very deliberate way, but that's also a way to keep your body energized and keep your body supporting your voice correctly, instead of all of it going to a really shallow place. And because those notes are coming out so seamlessly, and because all of those things are taking place, you can tell that these are really well reinforced notes. He's very trained, and you can tell, and that doesn't take away from his artistry, that enhances it. He uses that training because it's not just about receiving the training itself. Anybody can receive vocal training. It's how a vocalist chooses to use it that really, really matters. And that has to do with their artistry and their own tastes. And he uses his impeccably. Expressively, that ending note was like a cry of anguish, and you can see it because the pictures of the children, kind of a subliminal messaging, like all of this war and this lack of peace in our world, it affects the next generation, and it affects them more even than it will affect us, because we don't know, we probably won't live long enough to see the long-term damage that these historical events have on generations that precede us and on the planet itself, in a way. And I'm getting a little emotional because I've been so engrossed in raising money through Artists for Peace, and I've been very much kind of knee deep in all of this stuff right now, and it's very it's rough stuff. There's a lot of rough things happening in the world. It's very, very easy to get like caught up in it and to get really, really, really cynical and pessimistic. But like, we have to be realistic about things, yes, but we also have to have hope. We always have to have hope, because we won't continue to survive. We won't be able to help people if we don't. You know, we won't feel like we have something to live for in that sense. And artists like these, not only by providing an emotional catharsis and an escape, but also by expressing themselves in their art and these universally relatable human emotions, they provide hope through that, because it's a form of activism. And it's a form of activism that by supporting these artists, we all can partake in some way as well. So it's really powerful what he's doing. And I love the fact that all of his music seems to have such poignant messages to it. So he's not just an artist that's out there showing off his incredible voice. He's out there trying to speak to people on a much deeper level than just vocal pyrotechnics. He's so much more than that, and I want to recognize him and commend him for that. I want to go back actually real quick and show you that high note one more time. A YouTube commenter asked me if I could go back to a couple key points, because sometimes that's helpful, and I totally see the value in that. So I see you and I hear you. I want you to watch the pictures that are happening in the background and how he perfectly times this beautiful, beautiful cry of anguish with these pictures, and then the vocal technique on top of that of allowing it to ease in the tension. He's easing the pressure of that belt by going into vibrato at the end, kind of a belt, sort of a mix, but a very strong mix. By going into that vibrato at the end and leaning into the natural vibrations of the voice, that's a release of tension. And it also helps his voice acoustically. So those are all great things to be watching for as well. What a cool way to end that piece. And what a cool piece. They're all so complex and amazing songs as well. So thrilling to listen to, kind of refreshing based off of some of the things, especially in the States, that are like on the radio today. I hope he deserves to be more popular than some of the things that I've been hearing on the radio. I will just say that. I love artists, so I'm not going to call anybody out in particular, but I want things that have more of this to be more mainstream. But he does have a wonderful career, and I am happy to follow him, and I hope it continues to grow. He will definitely be reappearing on this channel, and what a fun one to reappear on this channel. It's so much fun. There's so much to unpack with these performances. Thank you for joining me on the nerdy journey, the nerdy and emotional journey. And consider supporting Artists for Peace if you can. Link to all that, like I said before, is in the description. Like, subscribe, support the channel as we continue to grow, and I love you all so much. So have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will see you all again soon. Bye.